Stephen Covey, an internationally respected leadership authority, presents his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where he reveals a principle-centered approach to personal and interpersonal effectiveness. Covey draws on his extensive experience working with people in various settings to offer a holistic, integrated approach to personal and interpersonal effectiveness. This book is a guide to dealing with personal and professional problems effectively. Covey argues that our behavior is a function of our decisions, not our conditions, and that we can subordinate feelings to values. The book is divided into 4 sections. Part 1, Paradigms and Principles. This section introduces the concept of a paradigm and its impact on our effectiveness. Covey defines a paradigm as a model, theory, perception, assumption, or frame of reference that shapes how we interpret the world. Part 2, Private Victory. This section explores the first 3 habits, which focus on self-mastery and moving from dependence to independence. This section explores the next 3 habits, which focus on building effective interdependence. Part 4, Renewal. This section focuses on the final habit, which is the habit of continuous improvement in the 4 dimensions of our nature: physical, spiritual, mental, and social-emotional. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People provides a principle-centered, character-based, inside-out approach to personal and interpersonal effectiveness. Chapter 1, Inside Out. In this chapter, Covey introduces the concept of the inside-out approach, which involves starting with the most inside part of yourself, your paradigms, character, and motives. He emphasizes that private victories precede public victories, meaning that making and keeping promises to ourselves precedes making and keeping promises to others. The author challenges the popular personality ethic that focuses on outward techniques and quick fixes, arguing that it is superficial and addresses only acute problems while leaving underlying chronic problems untouched. Covey shares a personal anecdote about his son who was struggling in school to illustrate the ineffectiveness of the personality ethic. Despite their efforts to help their son using positive mental attitude techniques and other external methods, nothing seemed to work. It was only when they shifted their focus from their techniques to their motives and perceptions that they began to see a change in their son. This experience, along with his research on perception and the success literature, led Covey to a crucial realization: the difference between the personality ethic and the character ethic. The personality ethic focuses on outward techniques and quick fixes, things like personality growth, communication skills, and positive thinking. The character ethic, on the other hand, is based on the fundamental idea that there are principles that govern human effectiveness. These principles are like natural laws in the human dimension, just as real and unchanging as physical laws such as gravity. Covey argues that to focus on technique without developing character is like cramming your way through school. You might get by for a while, but you will never achieve true mastery or develop an educated mind. The author concludes the chapter by emphasizing the importance of aligning our paradigms with the principles that govern human effectiveness. He suggests that the 7 habits are basic habits that represent the internalization of correct principles upon which enduring happiness and success are based. Chapter 2, Begin with the End in Mind. In this chapter, Covey introduces the concept of beginning with the end in mind, which means starting with a clear understanding of your destination. He emphasizes the importance of having a clear vision of what you want to achieve in life, so that you can make sure that your daily actions are in alignment with your overall goals. The author uses the analogy of a ladder to illustrate this point. If the ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step you take just gets you to the wrong place faster. Covey also introduces the principle of 2 creations: the mental creation and the physical creation. He argues that everything is created twice, first mentally, then physically. The mental creation is the first and most important creation, where you visualize and plan what you want to achieve. The physical creation is simply the manifestation of the mental creation. The author emphasizes that if we do not develop our own self-awareness and take responsibility for our first creations, we empower other people and circumstances to shape our lives by default. Covey also differentiates between leadership and management. Leadership is the first creation, which deals with determining what you want to accomplish. Management is the second creation, which deals with how to best accomplish those things. He argues that leadership must come first. It is about deciding whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall, while management is about climbing the ladder efficiently. The author concludes the chapter by emphasizing the importance of developing a personal mission statement or philosophy. This mission statement should focus on what you want to be, what you want to do, and the values or principles upon which your actions are based. Chapter 3. Put first things first. In this chapter, Covey introduces the third habit, put first things first, which is the personal fruit and practical fulfillment of habits 1 and 2. Habit 1. Be proactive. You are the creator. You are in charge. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. It's the first or mental creation. It's about developing a deep understanding of your paradigms, values, and vision. Habit 3 is the second creation, the physical creation. It's the day in, day out, moment by moment doing it. The author emphasizes that you cannot become principle-centered without first being aware of and developing your proactive nature. You also need to understand your paradigms and how to shift them to align with principles. Covey differentiates between leadership and management. Leadership is about deciding what first things are. Management is about putting them first, day by day, moment by moment. He argues that effective management is putting first things first. It's about having the discipline to act in accordance with your values. Covey then introduces the time management matrix, which categorizes activities based on 2 factors, urgent and important. Urgent means it requires immediate attention. Important has to do with results. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. Quadrant 2, not urgent but important. Quadrant 3, urgent but not important. Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. The author argues that Quadrant 2 is the heart of effective personal management, as it deals with things that are not urgent but are important. He concludes the chapter by emphasizing the importance of delegating effectively. Delegation is a Quadrant 2 activity that can significantly increase our effectiveness. Chapter 4. Think win-win. Think win-win is the habit of interpersonal leadership. It involves the exercise of each of the unique human endowments, self-awareness, imagination, conscience, and independent will, in our relationships with others. Covey introduces the concept of 6 paradigms of human interaction. 1. Win-win. This paradigm seeks mutual benefit in all human interactions. 2. Win-lose. This paradigm means if I win, you lose. 3. Lose-win. This paradigm means I lose, you win. 4. Lose-lose. This paradigm occurs when 2 win-lose people get together, resulting in both losing. 5. Win. People with this mentality are concerned only with getting what they want, regardless of whether others win or lose. 6. Win-win or no deal. This paradigm means that if you can't find a solution that benefits both parties, you agree to disagree agreeably. The author argues that win-win is the only truly viable paradigm in interdependent realities. He also emphasizes that it is not a personality technique, but a total philosophy of human interaction. Covey introduces the 5 dimensions of win-win. 1. Character. The foundation of win-win, comprised of 3 character traits: integrity, maturity, and abundance mentality. Integrity, the value we place on ourselves. Maturity, the balance between courage and consideration. Abundance mentality, the paradigm that there is plenty out there for everybody. 2. Relationships, the trust or the emotional bank account that is built up in a relationship. 3. Agreements. These are performance agreements or partnership agreements that give definition and direction to win-win. 4. Systems. The systems in an organization must support win-win for it to work. Processes. There's no way to achieve win-win ends with win-lose or lose-win means. The author emphasizes approaching win-win with a genuine desire to invest in the relationships that make it possible. Chapter 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. It is the habit of empathic communication. It involves listening with the intent to understand, to really understand another human being from that individual's own frame of reference. Covey argues that you cannot achieve effective interpersonal communication with technique alone. The real key is your example and actual conduct. The author emphasizes that empathic listening is the highest form of listening. It's about fully understanding someone emotionally and intellectually. Empathic listening involves listening with your ears, eyes, and heart, listening for feeling, meaning, and behavior, using your right brain as well as your left. Covey explains that empathic listening is powerful because it provides accurate data. You're dealing with another person's reality, not your own assumptions. The author introduces psychological air, the need to be understood, affirmed, validated, and appreciated. Empathic listening provides this psychological air. Covey discusses 4 autobiographical responses when listening: evaluate, probe, advise, and interpret. These responses limit true understanding. The author provides a step-by-step guide to developing empathic listening skills, enhancing the ability to truly understand others. Covey concludes the chapter by emphasizing the importance of seeking first to understand in all areas of life, particularly in our interpersonal relationships. Chapter 6 is titled Synergize, and it delves into the power of creative cooperation. Covey introduces synergy as the third and highest level in the process of interpersonal interaction, following independence and dependence. Synergy is defined as the state where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, signifying that teamwork and collaborative efforts can produce far better results than individuals working alone. Covey emphasizes that valuing and respecting differences is key to achieving synergy. He argues that our perceptions of the world are shaped by our experiences, values, and perspectives. By acknowledging and appreciating these differences, we can open ourselves up to new possibilities and solutions. He uses the metaphor of a forest, where each tree contributes to the overall health and vitality of the ecosystem, to illustrate the importance of diversity and interdependence. The chapter also explores the concept of synergistic communication, which involves not only listening to understand, but also being open to being influenced by others. Covey suggests that by genuinely seeking to understand and appreciate different viewpoints, we can create an environment where new ideas and solutions can emerge. He also discusses the importance of trust and cooperation in building synergistic relationships, and how these relationships can lead to greater innovation and creativity. Covey provides practical examples of how synergy can be applied in various settings, including family, work, and community. He encourages readers to embrace diversity, value differences, and seek out opportunities for creative cooperation. He concludes the chapter by emphasizing that synergy is not just a technique, but a philosophy of life that can lead to greater personal and interpersonal effectiveness. Chapter 7, titled Sharpen the Saw, focuses on the concept of continuous improvement and renewal. Covey introduces the metaphor of a woodcutter who is diligently sawing down a tree but doesn't take the time to sharpen his saw, resulting in decreased effectiveness. He argues that we need to regularly invest time and effort in renewing ourselves in 4 key dimensions: physical, spiritual, mental, and social-emotional. The physical dimension involves caring for our bodies through proper nutrition, exercise, rest, and stress management. Covey emphasizes the importance of building physical endurance, flexibility, and strength to enhance our overall well-being. The spiritual dimension focuses on our core values and beliefs and how we connect with our inner selves and the world around us. Covey suggests practices like meditation, prayer, and spending time in nature to nurture our spiritual selves. The mental dimension involves continuous learning, expanding our knowledge and perspectives, and developing our thinking abilities. Covey encourages activities like reading, writing, and engaging in meaningful conversations to stimulate our minds. The social-emotional dimension focuses on building and maintaining healthy relationships, developing empathy, and practicing effective communication. Covey highlights the importance of seeking out opportunities for service and contribution to others to enhance our social and emotional well-being. Covey emphasizes that renewing ourselves in these 4 dimensions is not a luxury, but a necessity for achieving sustained personal and interpersonal effectiveness. He provides practical suggestions for incorporating these renewal activities into our daily lives and encourages readers to prioritize self-care and continuous improvement. He concludes the chapter by emphasizing that sharpening the saw is an ongoing process that requires commitment and discipline, but the rewards are well worth the effort. After Chapter 7, Sharpen the Saw, Stephen Covey concludes the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by revisiting the concept of continuous improvement and applying the 7 habits to various aspects of life, including personal growth, relationships, parenting, and leadership. He emphasizes that effectiveness is not a destination, but a journey, and that by consistently practicing the 7 habits, we can continuously improve ourselves and our interactions with others. He argues that by aligning our actions with our values and principles, and by empowering others to do the same, we can create a positive ripple effect in the world around us. In essence, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People offers a holistic approach to personal and interpersonal effectiveness, emphasizing the importance of character ethic, proactivity, purpose-driven living, and continuous improvement. Covey's insights and practical suggestions have resonated with millions of readers worldwide, making this book a timeless guide for those seeking to live more fulfilling and meaningful lives.